A Christchurch cycleway is being described as a death trap after a cyclist was hit by a car and left badly injured. The cycleway, that was part of a $3.5 million redevelopment of St Asaph Street, has been open less than a year but has been plagued with problems. Conan Young reports.
I'm standing on the cycleway that Chris Kitson uses every day to get to work. He was cycling along here at about 30k an hour, he says, and you can just see what happened there. What happened is a car turned right in front of him. He hit this car on the side, went flying over the bonnet and landed about 2 or 3 metres away from where he was hit, just on this footpath here.
I lay there for quite a long time, and then I was quite woozy, and every time I tried to move, I couldn't. I was woozy, and that eye was looking like it was looking underwater, and couldn't see through that eye at all. And after a while, I sort of propped myself up a bit and propped myself against a fence that was there, and blood was going all over my jacket, and my knuckles were all raw, and everything hurt.
Chris was whisked away to hospital, where the enormity of what had just happened to him finally hit home.
I remember the sort of low sort of, oh, what happened to him? And I was on the stretcher and on my back, and I actually had a bit of a blub then, and just because it all hit me that here I was in hospital now, and my day's not going to turn out the way I thought.
He spent the night in hospital after surgery was carried out on his thumb.
They just were going to clean it up, the wound, because the flesh had split because the bone had gone so far back that it had torn the flesh. And they found bits of bone in there that they had to relocate.
In your toe, how badly broken is that?
It's what's called fractured at the back of the joint, where at the back of one of the pieces of the bone where it's in the joint, so they couldn't do anything with it apart from just give me a flat sandal and keep it flat, and it will heal itself.
This long-time cyclist says the cars parked on the roadside create a blind spot for motorists turning across the cycle lane in order to access off-street parking and prevent them from seeing cyclists coming up beside them in the cycle lane.
I think there needs to be some sort of warning for cars turning into businesses of some description. I mean, electronics and things these days, they can sense a cyclist coming along, and there can be a little orange light that flashes, hey, don't turn left in a hurry here because there's a cyclist coming. Is so easy to do, and they do it on the Chim Street cycleway for buses, turning those little orange things that flash here and there for various users of crosses and so forth of the cycleway.
The City Council's Transport Operations Manager, Aaron Hames, admits the cars parked alongside the cycleway do obscure the view of motorists turning across the path of the cycleway to access off-street parking, and notes the original design for the street did not have any car parking next to the cycleway. But he insists visibility has been improved by the construction of road islands that prevent cars from parking too close to the entry points for car parks.
If you're turning left to go into a vehicle entrance, it means your vehicle has to be more perpendicular to the cycle lane so that the driver gets a better view back down the cycle lane. If you didn't have those build-outs, you could sort of come in at a 45-degree angle, and then that driver's visibility wouldn't be as good.
Made narrow and more pedestrian and cycle-friendly, the road was originally intended to be a 30km/h zone. Instead, it was allowed to retain its 50km limit, resulting in some cars travelling through the area at speeds not suited to the narrow corridor. Aaron Hames says council staff are recommending the 30km/h limit should be brought in as originally intended.
It would be hard to deny that wouldn't improve the safety for cyclists. Then the whole traffic flow down the street would be moving at a lower speed, so people wouldn't feel as pressured as they're turning off the corridor into an entranceway. And of course, travelling at 30 kilometres an hour, you've got time to brake and stop.
He's devastated somebody has been seriously hurt on the cycleway.
That's the last thing we want to see on our roads, that sort of thing happening, and it does give our cycleways a bad name, and we'll do anything that we can to try and avoid these types of things happening in the future.
Chris Kitson says he'll avoid the cycleway until the council makes it safer.
For as long as cars can turn into those business car parks, I'll be off that cycleway. Yeah.
And in terms of getting back on your bike again, how are you feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to it.
Really? It hasn't put you off?
No. I'm a keen cyclist. I think there's so many reasons why it's good, and I've had many accidents, and this is the worst. And I've had thousands of near misses, and I think the more people that bike, the safer it'll be for people who want to bike.
In Ōtautahi for Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.